Welcome to the Sober Bliss podcast, bringing you hints, tips, advice and inspiration as you walk your path to living a rich and full, alcohol-free life. Discover why sobriety is the most loving gift of self-care and self-love, and how you can feel empowered and joyous with your choice to live the abundant life of alcohol freedom that you deserve. I'm Gail MacDonald, coach, teacher, mum and tea drinker, living a life of alcohol freedom, and I'm here to help you to transform your relationship with alcohol in a way that feels good, so you can live the life you deserve without alcohol holding you back. Hello everyone, welcome to this week's podcast. And today we're talking about coping with life's challenges when you don't drink. This is such an important topic. It's such a huge part of the sober journey, which is why I wanted to dedicate a podcast to this today to help you, get through those challenges without drinking and feeling good about it. First of all, I'd like to share with you one of my favourite quotes by Pema Chodron. I hope I've pronounced your name right, Pema. And the quote is this: "People quit as soon as things aren't easy anymore. As soon as it gets painful. They quit as soon as they see something in their minds that scares or hurts them. So they miss the good part, the wild part, the transformative part, the part where you push past the difficulty and enter into some raw, new, unexplored universe within yourself." I love that quote so much, and it just holds so much truth on this sober journey. Because a lot of the time we decide to stop drinking, we take the steps, we move forward, and then as soon as something difficult or challenging or upsetting happens, we reach for the only thing that we know that can help us through it, and that is alcohol. And it's not your fault, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in the podcast, but the only reason we tend to do this is because it's what we've always done. Whenever we've been stressed or upset or angry or hurt or something bad happens, then we've used alcohol in the past. So it's natural that we don't know what to do instead. We don't know how to get through these difficult moments without drinking. But being able to get through these moments without drinking really is so important. It's such an important part of the journey to alcohol-free living, and perhaps more importantly, to a life of alcohol freedom where you are in control, where you feel good, and no matter what happens, no matter what is going on, you don't feel the need to drink anymore. So maybe you're listening to this podcast and you've been sober for a little while, but you're worried that you might feel tempted when something bad happens, or indeed something good. Challenging situation can be a good situation, and you're not sure how you're going to cope. Maybe you're listening to the podcast and you've had spells of sobriety. You might not be drinking right now, but in the past, as soon as life's got challenging, lockdown for example, you've turned to the wine again because you just don't know any other way to get through it. Or maybe you're managing quite well with the day-to-day, living alcohol-free, but whenever there's bad news or something unexpected or unpleasant happens, you always reach for the alcohol to help you cope. So you're in that kind of stop-start cycle. And maybe you're listening to the podcast and you've tried to stop drinking, but as soon as a craving happens or you find yourself in a triggering situation, you reach for the alcohol because that's the only thing you know that works. And maybe you're listening to this podcast because, above all, you want to be sober. You want to be able to deal with life. You want to be able to manage the good and the bad without feeling that you need alcohol to help you through it. You're tired of being in the stop-start cycle of drinking, and you want the courage, the tools, the strength to help you navigate life no matter what happens. And that's what I'm going to help you with today. I want to share another quote with you before we get on to the podcast. And this time it's from Caroline Knapp, who wrote Drinking, a Love Story. And the quote is, "The hard things in life, the things you really learn from, happen with a clear mind." And they do. It's absolutely so true. I myself have lived through some really difficult moments in the past 3 years of my sobriety. And sometimes it would have been so easy to drink, just to numb out and to block all the feelings and the pain and to get through it. But I didn't. I kept going. I stayed true to myself. And actually, I grew such a lot. I came out stronger on the other side. And I came out feeling really proud of myself. If I could get through that, then I can get through anything. And that's what I want you to hold on to. If you can get through those difficult situations and not drink, you really can do anything that you want. You don't need alcohol to do anything. But before we dive into how to get through these difficult situations without drinking, I just want to share with you what I feel are the two main reasons why we turn to alcohol when something bad, unexpected, frightening, challenging happens. And the first reason, and I kind of touched on that, is that we turn to alcohol because that's what we've always done. It's our go-to, our automatic soother, if you like. We just don't know any other way to get through it. And the second reason that we turn to alcohol in these situations is because we get an actual physical sensation in our bodies that we want to get rid of. That feeling of stress, anxiety, panic, dread, or fear even. Those physical feelings are real. It's the knot in the stomach, the tightening of the chest, maybe the dizziness or the cold chill of fear or dread. And they're not nice feelings, so we drink to make them go away. And when you've spent so long numbing these feelings out, dulling the pain, running away by drinking, it's no wonder that anything else just seems impossible. But it is possible. It absolutely is possible. And I want you to know that you do have everything you need inside of you to help you through whatever challenges you might be facing. You just need to believe it. You need to believe in yourself and trust that you can do it. Now, I believe that there are 3 steps to overcoming life's challenges without drinking. And I want to share those steps with you today so you've got something to take away with you and to start working on. So the first step is, and this goes right back to the beginning, it's at the core of why we are on this journey in the first place. So step 1 is to get clear on why you want to stop drinking and stay stopped, and then commit to your decision. This is the most important part of the process. Having a clear reason that you can feel deep down in your bones and committing to yourself and actually feeling it, as I said, deep down. Once you can feel it and commit to it, it's far easier to keep going when things get difficult. If you listen to the Vision podcast that I recorded last time, that goes into a lot more detail about how to find your why, how to find your reason, and how to stay connected to yourself. So if you haven't listened, go and listen to that. It's got some really useful information in there. So having a reason, having a why, will help you to get through any situation, but you've got to really feel it. The next step in helping you to overcome these challenges without drinking is to actually understand yourself. Understand the reasons for drinking, understanding your own challenges, understanding your triggers. And step 3 is to make sure that you have all the tools and the support to help you through, and also commit to using them no matter what. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about each of these different steps in more detail. But step 1, having a why, having a really strong reason why you want to change your relationship with alcohol. As I said, listen to the Vision podcast. That will help you to get clear on your own vision, your own reason. So today I'm not kind of going to go into that in too much detail, but suffice to say that having a really strong reason why you are doing this will keep you on track, even when things get difficult. So I'd just like you to take a moment and think about these questions that I'm going to ask you now. So why do you want to stop drinking? What does that look like for you? Think about your current situation. Where are you now in terms of your drinking and the effect it's having on your life? Why do you want to change your relationship with alcohol? What do you want instead? How will your life change if you stop drinking or took a good long break from drinking? What excites you most about this new life? What scares you about changing your relationship with alcohol? What would you gain? What are the benefits of not drinking? And how will your sobriety change your life? These are quite deep questions, so maybe pause this and spend a bit of time thinking about it. But these questions will help you to connect to why you are doing this in the first place. And as I said, when you have a really strong, concrete reason for being on this journey, it will help to keep you going no matter what. If your why is so strong, then it just makes the tempting situation seem so insignificant. You want to make your why so powerful that anything that happens just doesn't affect your reasoning for doing this in any way at all. So do take a bit of time and think about why you are on this journey. And I'd love for you to share with me about why you are here. I always love to know people's own stories. So once you know why you're doing this, once you know why you want to stop drinking, why you are on this journey, then it's time to think about your own situation, challenges, and triggers. Okay, now this can be kind of difficult situations that have happened in the past and you're worried about them. It can be your general day-to-day living. You might be living in quite a stressful situation at the moment. You might be worried about something coming up in the future. And you might be thinking, if this happens, what will I do? I'm scared that if X happens, then I won't know how to get through it without drinking. So it's important to really understand yourself, your own triggers and your own situations that might cause you to reach for a drink. And then again, think about, why are these situations so challenging for me? What is it about them that makes me want to reach for a drink? And what can I do instead? You know, this can be challenging in itself, because if you've always drank in difficult situations, then you might not know what you can do instead. And that's what I'm going to be helping you with in the next step. But the important thing to remember is that, first of all, using alcohol to cope with stress and challenging situations is a learned behavior. Your brain soon learns quite quickly that a glass of wine equals no more stress. It equals fun or relaxation. And you come to rely on this glass of wine, or bottle of wine even, to help you through. So your subconscious mind can even begin to trigger cravings at these certain times, because it's expecting the glass of wine. It's expecting you to drink. And in the past, you probably noticed that, yes, a glass of wine or two does numb the pain, does make those feelings go away. But it only works for a little while, because that's all we're doing, numbing out, blocking the pain. The truth is that the problem never goes away. The situation does not get dealt with. When you wake up, it'll still be there. And actually, you'll feel even more stressed or anxious because you didn't do anything about the problem in the first place. You might have a hangover, you might have even wasted some more money, and it just feels so much bigger and worse than it actually is. So whatever your current difficult situation is, or whatever you're worried about in the future, then you need to deal with it head on. You know, that's the only way to really work through these difficult situations. It might be people, it might be events, it might be your general day-to-day living. So you need to work out why it's causing you so much stress and anxiety, and then deal with it. You know, you don't have to solve the whole problem right now, but at least take some steps to helping yourself through the situation. Get to the bottom of exactly what's causing you the stress and try and work through it. So what are you currently stressed, worried or concerned about? And just think about this. How are you managing that stress at the moment? And is it working for you? What thoughts and emotions come up for you when you think about your problem or situation? Now again, it can be something you're experiencing right now, or something that you're worried about in the future. Even good things, you know, good situations or events that might be happening, they can still cause us stress, anxiety and worry. So what are you worried about, and why are you so worried about it? And then I want you to think, go a little deeper here, and ask yourself, is alcohol really serving you in these difficult moments? On the whole scheme of things, is it really helping? Is it really helping you to feel how you want to feel? And it's worth thinking about how you feel afterwards. You know, if you are currently drinking right now and you're using alcohol to help you cope with stress or anxiety, how do you feel afterwards? How do you feel the next day? How do you feel a couple of days later? Is it really making you feel better? Has alcohol really made all the problems disappear as if by magic? So think carefully about that. And then ask yourself, what do I want instead? How would I like to cope? How would I like to feel? What would I rather be doing instead of just numbing out and blocking this pain with alcohol? And, keep asking yourself why it might be so bad. Why is it so scary, the thought of dealing with this situation without alcohol? What is it you are scared of? And imagine if I didn't drink in this certain situation, would it really be that terrible? I honestly think that it won't be as bad as you imagine that it will be. You can get through anything without drinking. As I said before, you don't need alcohol to help you through these difficult, challenging moments. Yes, it might be scary. And obviously, if you've never done it before, it can throw up some real feelings of fear and anxiety. But you will get through it. You absolutely will get through it. And you'll feel better when you do get through it and you don't drink. So now we're going to look at the third step on dealing with life's challenges without drinking. And that is gathering together some tools, some strategies, and some support to help you in that moment. Because if you say, okay, I don't know, I've got my mother-in-law coming next week, for example, and maybe you always drink when your mother-in-law comes because she triggers you. You have to have an alternative. You have to have a plan. You can't just say, okay, I'm not going to drink without knowing what you're going to do instead. And these are the tools and the strategies and the support. And there are two kind of threads to this third step. The first thread is that in order to be able to be in a better position to cope with these challenges without drinking, you need to look after yourself. And I'm talking right down to the basics here of, basic self-care. So ongoing, long-term, simple self-care practices to help you feel better generally, to help you feel good, and to help you be in more of a position to be able to cope because you've got that strength within you. So, you need to begin to give yourself permission to look after yourself, to put yourself first, to take care of your own needs. And I did a podcast on self-care, which I think you'll find really useful. So go and listen to that if you want to dive deeper into how you can begin to bring a self-care practice into your life. But really dealing with things on a day-to-day basis and being kind and gentle with yourself is key when it comes to being able to deal with the bigger things. So, for example, simple things that can just help you get through the day-to-day, simple things that you can do right now to start to help yourself feel better. And these are really basic things, but they're so powerful and so important. So things like good quality sleep. Are you sleeping enough? Proper rest and relaxation. Are you taking 5 minutes out of your day just to put your feet up and relax? Are you drinking plenty of water? Are you nourishing your body with healthy foods? Are you being in and connecting with nature? Are you getting outside enough? Are you moving your body enough? Do you have connection with the people that you love and who support you? Do you talk to your friends and family? And on the other side of that, are you getting enough alone time? That's one of the things that I found that when I was drinking, I used alcohol to help me have some alone time, some me time. being at home all day with 2 kids, pandering to everybody's needs was just so tiring. And I needed time to myself. And the only way that I knew how to do that was to kind of escape into a few beers or a glass or 2 of wine. But that isn't proper me time. That is not self-care. But it is important that you can carve out some time for yourself. That is one of the basic self-care practices. So have a think about what you can do. And again, if you listen to the podcast on self-care, it will give you some more ideas on how to do that. So, just to recap, we're on step 3 now, how you can help yourself cope with life's challenges. And the first thread in step 3, if you like, is basic, ongoing self-care. So, the basic things that you can do: sleep, water, nutrition, exercise, alone time, connection, and support. And the other thread in step 3, if you like, is to have those emergency tools that will help you get through any given situation or challenge. It's time to stop planning and preparing for those difficult moments and getting the support you need and putting some tools and strategies in place. And actually, one of the lovely members in our membership group told me that when she tried to stop drinking in the past, she didn't have these go-to emergency tools in place. But she does now, and that is what makes all the difference. She said, I thought I could just stop drinking and everything would be fine. But then as soon as a challenge came up or I was faced with something difficult, I didn't know what to do because I didn't have these emergency tools. So these are so important, and I'm going to walk you through a few things that you can do when things get difficult. But first of all, what I want to say is that if you've read the book, or even if you haven't, James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, this book is brilliant. And it talks about the different laws of habit change. And one of the laws, which I really love, is make it easy. So whatever tools that you decide are going to help you, whatever resources, whatever support you need to make them easy to get to. You need to be able to access them easily. It has to be easier for you to reach for whatever it might be than it will be to reach for a drink. So those two kind of go hand in hand. So whatever tools that you choose, whatever tools that you decide are going to help you, then you have to make them easy to get to, easy to use, so you can just grab them in an instant. Now, there are lots of different things that you can do in the moment when you're feeling stressed or anxious. And I'm just going to go through a few key ones now. And then obviously after this podcast, it would be great if you could take some time and think of some more ideas, some more of the own things that you could do. So the first emergency tool, if you like, for getting through a difficult situation is to leave the situation for a moment, whatever that might be. If you are in, an event, a party, a family situation, and maybe the people there are triggering you, maybe there's alcohol around, maybe you're feeling tempted, the first thing that you can do is to leave the room. Even if you go and sit in the loo for 5 minutes, just remove yourself from the situation, and then you can maybe look at the other tools, which I'm going to share with you now. So after you've left the room, maybe you've gone outside, maybe you're in the loo, do some deep breathing. deep breathing is a really excellent way to calm yourself down. Your breathing has a direct effect on your physiology and vice versa. If you're tense and anxious, then your breathing is a lot shallower. When you're calm and relaxed, your breathing is slow and deep. So if you want to change how you feel physically and also your thoughts, you can begin to slow your breathing down. This doesn't have to be complicated. There are lots of different breathing techniques out there. But if you can just pause and take 5 or 6 long, slow, deep breaths, then immediately you will begin to calm, both physically and emotionally, and also your thoughts will begin to calm down. This is an amazing tool. You can do it anywhere. You can do it at any time. It doesn't cost anything. And it's not difficult to do. It's just slowing down your breath, making the commitment, and just trying and breathing deeply. Okay, so there are 2 things that you can do. Remove yourself from the situation and do some deep breathing. The other technique that I really love, and I talk about this in the blog post that I did last week, and I'll put a link to that in the show notes, is to play the movie forward. So imagine that you are in any given situation and you're tempted to drink. Play the events forward in your mind right till the end, and this is important. So, imagine if I did drink this one drink, what will happen? Because it's never just one drink. It will always lead on to another and another. So play the movie forward right to the end. Imagine yourself, if you did drink, what will happen? How will I feel? And more importantly, how will you feel the next morning after probably a very poor night's sleep? And if you can do this, then you really begin to see that actually alcohol doesn't solve the problem, doesn't make the situation any better, and you feel worse for it the next day. So play the movie forward in your mind. Another great technique, and I talk about this all the time, is to go for a walk. So wherever you are, whatever you are doing, whatever situation you're trying to deal with, if you just can't seem to be able to get through it, then, go back to step 1, which is to remove yourself from the situation, and then just go for a walk. I went for so many walks when I first quit drinking. Honestly, I was probably outside more than I was inside. And getting out for a walk gives you such a lovely opportunity to calm your mind, to take those lovely deep breaths of the fresh air, to connect with nature, to walk off the feelings, and maybe even just to give yourself some time and space to think. And then obviously get away from the situation for a while. If you can just lose yourself in a walk for a few moments, then often answers will come a lot easier. And even if you don't manage to come up with a solution, you would have done a bit of exercise, you would have had some fresh air, you would have seen something lovely, and you'll come back and you will feel better. And like I touched on before, probably the most important thing that you can do if you are faced with difficult or stressful situations or challenges is to deal with it. You might not be able to deal with it straight away. It might take a while to actually get through the situation. It might be a slow process. But whatever the situation is that is troubling you, you just have to deal with it. It might mean having a difficult conversation. It might mean getting advice from someone. or it might simply mean that you have to sit down with a pen and some paper and work out at least where you're going to start. And then planning and preparation, I suppose, are another really important step. Like I mentioned before, James Clear in his book Atomic Habits talks about the different laws of habit change. Make it easy is one of them. So, you want to make it as easy and as enjoyable as possible for yourself to go and do something else. So it might mean instead of having wine in the house, you have alcohol-free beers in the house instead. Or you have another alternative that you like to drink. You might want to get in some fancy teas or some nice coffees, but have them available so you can get to them easily. Might be all the snacks. You might want to indulge in a bit of chocolate from time to time, but have it there, have it easy so that you can get to it. Another thing to do is you might want to have your support network easy to get to on your phone. In the membership, for example, we also have a WhatsApp support group. So at any given moment, any one of our members can just type a message in. And because we are women all over the world, there will always be somebody there to respond or to advise or to listen. So have your support network handy so you can type a question, type a message, make a call, whatever it might be. And that can be the difference between sometimes drinking and not drinking. So whatever you decide you are going to use to help you through these difficult situations, make sure that they are easy for you to turn to. So the support network on your phone, maybe you have an uplifting playlist on your phone that you listen to make you feel better. Maybe you like running, so put your running shoes by the door. Whatever it takes to help you to make the right choice in the moment. Okay, now there are other more specialized support, if you like, more specialized tools such as meditation, mindfulness, emotional freedom technique, otherwise known as tapping, and we deal with all of these in the membership. So if you want to know more about these, then I'd love for you to come and join us. So there are a range of tools that you can use to help you in any given situation. The trick is to remember to use them and not automatically reach for the wine. But the more you practice, the easier it becomes. So the best way to deal with any challenging situation is to plan for it, prepare for it, practice getting through it without drinking, and then keep trying. Be open to exploring and have a willingness to try something new. If your walk doesn't work, then try something else. If that thing doesn't work, then try something else. Keep going, keep trying, and you will find the thing that works for you. So start building your toolkit now. Start thinking about what you want to put in your sober toolbox to help you through difficult moments, and keep adding to it. If you find something that works and you really love, then you keep using it again and again. Just a final note, this probably will be difficult for you. It will be challenging. If you've always turned to alcohol to help you cope, then the first time you try and deal with a situation without it, it will be challenging. It will make you feel uncomfortable. It might even be painful, but it will be just so worth it. It really will. And the more you can get through those difficult situations without drinking, the easier they become. The more you can go into a situation with a clear head and a strong heart, the less painful it becomes. You get stronger, you really do, and you will find that you do have the power within you. You have everything you need within you to get through these moments. And yeah, you might need a little bit of help, but that's okay. But the important thing is to remember is that you don't need alcohol. You really, really don't. You can do this. You absolutely can do this. So believe in yourself and trust yourself. I hope that this podcast has helped you today. Do let me know by sending me an email what you thought of the podcast, what are your biggest takeaways, and if you're struggling with something at the moment, then let me know and see how I can help you. I've talked about the membership a little bit in this podcast today. You're always welcome to come and join us for that ongoing support and connection. And if you really want some more personalized support, then I do work with clients one-to-one. So if that's something that you are maybe thinking about, then do get in touch and we can have a chat. And this month, during the month of April, I actually have 5 free one-to-one sessions to give away. At the time of recording, I think 3 of them have already been booked. So if you've been wanting to have a chat with me for a while, then click on the link in the show notes and let's get together and have a chat about how I can support you through challenges, through these difficult emotions and difficult situations, and how I can help you to live the life of alcohol freedom that you truly deserve. Thanks so much for listening today. If you enjoyed this episode, do let me know. I love to hear from you. And also head on over to iTunes and leave a review. I'd be so grateful if you would do that, because the more reviews and ratings we have, the more people can find the podcast and get the help that they need. So have a wonderful day wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and I am thinking of you. Until next time, bye.